So welcome everyone to today's live trading London to New York crossover with the harmonic scanner, and we like pitchforks here. So I'm just going to start sharing the screen. If you are on the 7-day free trial, then it's like learning a foreign language. We do appreciate that, and when you join, you'll come into the Ninja Forex Traders group, and in here we have plenty of units that can show you how logically how to work your way through things, and you can always reach out to your sponsor, your team members, and we're very helpful. Everybody helps each other. So the first thing we like to do is check our Forex factory, and as you can see, we've got red flag news. It means OPEC meetings, oil meetings. Anything to do with oil affects the Canadian dollar. And the thing about the OPEC meetings is they don't, I think, have specific press conferences, but any attendee could come out of the meeting at any point in the day and make some sort of announcement, or Trump could, or Saudi Arabia, or Russia, whoever's involved in them. And also you can see they're going on, I don't know what JMMC, that might be Joint Something Committee, that's on tomorrow. So 2 days of it, so quite intensive, and more US dollar news, a lot of that tomorrow. So the market could be really sort of tightening up today on the Canadian dollar and the US dollar, which are the two major pairs for today. So I'm just going to make a note of that. And the first thing I wanted to go through was I have just done one trade and I've done 52.5 pips, and I was trading with Connor. At his request, he said, could we do some trading together? So we picked today, and he hopped on with me for an hour just before this session, and he'd already done 80 pips on Euroord. I think it was Euroord going up. So we looked again at that one, and that's what we both caught over 50 pips on. So the first trade that we took, we lost. And the reason I want to go through this with you is because coincidentally, it was the same, sorry about the glitching on TradingView, the same set of confirmations, and this one lost, but it should, if you've got your confirmations, and it's what chance always says, it shouldn't let you, it shouldn't put you off going into the next one. And I've forgotten now which one we were in. Hang on, we lost one, it hit stop loss. Hang on a minute. Let me just it was GBPUSD. Right, so with 10 off, it was a 15 pip stop loss. So was it there? Sorry about that. It must have been. So that's at 11 my time, 10 o'clock. I think we were in a bit later. Was it there? I don't know why I haven't got my slider bar in the right place, that's all. So let me just think. Because I kept an old markup on here because of Friday. I haven't had time to tidy it up to take them off. So let me think. I got on with him. Chance finished at 10 my time. I got on with Chance with Connor at 11 my time, which was 10 your time. That's right. So it must have been this one. So what were we looking at? But I can't see that it's hit stop loss up there, that's all. So I'm trying to think what we did now. I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, it hit stop loss, and it was this, but I'll be able to show you the same setup on the, let's just move on, because we then got into this Euroord. So Connor had been in it. He got in perfectly, so he got in here. So he did he get in down there, 50, 80 pips? I think he must have got in here. So the break there, that's it. So you can see the white pitchfork, the break and the retest, and then up to quarter theory. Maybe he got in there. So anyway, he followed this up and he got 82 pips. So we were looking at it up in this area, and it was the same setup on GBPUSD for a sell, but that failed. And when we looked at this, it was at this point here. So what it had done, so this is a reversal in the market as opposed to a momentum trade. And the problem with those, if you want to call it a problem, is they're not so easy to spot. So we were looking at the fact that it had come up here. The quarter theory is saying it's a buy. This is the fake out, the hourly candle coming up to 11 o'clock UK time, 12 o'clock mine. So it tried to break through the pitchfork and couldn't. And then this was my entry down here, where it just got through, it just broke down through the 62. So that's exactly where I got in. So it came down here and tested the 62, but was still above it. So the 62 was saying buy, but as you can see, it wicked off the pitchfork. It wicked off it again, and so it's done its break and retest twice off the pitchfork, and it's broken and retested and can't break back above the quarter theory. So you've got your two confirmations there, and all you're waiting for is for price to come under the 62, and then you hop in the trade, which is what we did. Just need to get rid of that. And then as we came down, had the stop loss up here, covering you on both the quarter theory and the pitchfork. And this one, so I had my alert. I had my alert at about 10, well, not about, I had my alert at whatever the 915, so 815, which would have been, let me just put the 10 pips on to show you what I do. Yeah, 815. So 815 would have been where I start off with my alarm on it, my alert, something like that. And then this was my stop loss, which I start to move down behind the 62. So the stop loss starts off up there. So it came down here, it stalled off the pitchfork, but it had hit the 10 pips. So I'd moved my stop loss to 1 pip. So I was more relaxed because it's a now risk-free trade. Now this is a fast moving pair. So it stalled out, and it took, how long did it take for us to get that 52 pips? So from just where I got in where the green candle started, down to there, 1 hour, 18 minutes to get 52.5 pips. Now I did get out precisely where that wicked off there. That was 2.7 pips from that pitchfork. And in a $6.6 trillion a day market, I consider that a touch. And I could see it was rejecting off, and that wick, I was out the trade. Now, if you had a full dollar lot size, $10 a pip, and you took 5 trades a week, just 1 trade a day, and you weren't sure, you weren't confident enough to say, I'm out the trade now, I've done 1 to 5, and you waited and you'd lost 1, 2, 3, 4 pips, but say you lost even a pip, so that'd be $50 a week, $200 a month, it'd be $2,500 from not precisely trying to, ring out exactly, work to your levels, work exactly. You might not get it to touch, but a 2.7 and a wick off after 3 rejections, you should be out the trade there. So once it had come down past the 10 pips, so we stayed in, it stalled out. We were chatting on Messenger. So we had a little.
Sarah,
yeah?
You got something on your web camera lens, looks like a fly.
Oh, sorry, thank you. So it broke, thanks a lot, Brian. Broke and retested there, back up to there, but it's still well under the 62, which is what Chance was teaching us last night. So Brian will remember when I send my chants into chants, they're usually the ones I've mucked up. So, because I want to learn. So you have to put your ego to one side, because I'd missed out on 125 pips. As he said, I could have been set for the week. I got nervous. I got out at the 26 pips, the daily target. And so today I thought, Brian, I'm not going to make the same mistake. I paid attention to the 62 EMA, which is shoveling price down. So it stalled out. That blooming flies all over here. So stayed in. I had my 1 minute trend line, which I did adjust slightly as we went down. It rejected off quarter theory. Now by this time, I'm trailing my 62 EMA by 3 pips behind it, all the way down as price is moving down, but I'm staying 3 pips behind and I'm above the quarter theory. So, oh, it's because I've got, just take that off. So once it got down here, we were waiting for it. We're still in it, waiting for it to break quarter theory. And it finally did that with that last push down there. And now it's come back up, right back up through quarter theory. It is a fast pair and back above the pitchfork. And this actually is a bit of a price trap. It's a wedge now between the pitchfork and the quarter theory. So I got out there at the 52.5 pips. So I'm good for the day. As Chance says, you just need a few good quality trades. I've learnt the lesson. My bank account's learnt the lesson. My broker account, from over trading. I'm absolutely not taking another trade today. So I've lost 15 pips on GBP USD and I've made 52. So whatever that is, I'm going to leave. I'm probably going to call it a day today because I've other calls to do. So 5 from 12 is 7. So that's 37 pips today. My daily target's 26. So, you know, that's a good, very good quality trade. And I'm very pleased with that result today. So I don't know if you've got any other questions on that. This is a sell scan. You know, once it's worked its way through this price trap, if I show you on the 15-minute, oh, we did look at the 30-minute candle close as well. So you can see it made that big push up, rejected off that quarter theory and pitchfork. We've caught it right the way down to there. It's now back, which is the median line. I'll take that, I'll hide that. And it's in that little, let me take those off. I don't need those anymore. Just so you can see that a little bit better. So that's that little wedge that it's sitting in at the moment. I'm sorry about that fly. So once it's made its mind up, then it should be, you know, it should be wanting to do this. So squiggle through there, Euro Ord, which is London and Asian session pair. But it, you know, it should either do that again, or it'll want to reject off there and go back up there. Obviously we don't know. So that was a really good morning, really enjoyed that.
I've got another scan for that, Sarah, that I put in the group this morning. So when I looked at that one, I was a bit confused because I'd got, obviously it looks a lot more sensible with your scan that you've got there, but I've got a later one, so it confused me a little bit. Because
which is the one you wanted us to look at? Was that GCAD? The one that you said it needs looking at.
I posted it in the group, but I just thought if somebody could just take a look at it, because I had to make a few adjustments and I wasn't sure whether you would normally do that or not. But I mean, we don't have to go through it on the call. You know, if you want to just check it for me, that would be fine. All right, okay.
There it is. I mean, you know, it's worked its way almost up to take profit 3.
Yeah. That's the one. It was just when I came to draw it up, the candles looked slightly different. I made a few adjustments.
Oh yeah, I sometimes get that, and I just go to the highest candle. Sometimes it tells me it's an hour different from what I'm drawing. I had that yesterday.
Yeah.
I found
but
that.
This one was a completely different. In the middle there, where the B is, it just looked different. Let me just get it up on my screen.
Well, let's put it on then. 5th of June 20 at 1400. So anyone else might want to draw this up. The A is 5th of June at 1600. The B is 7th of June 2300. C is 8th of June at 0700. And D, 8th of June at 1200. So go on to the hourly, make sure you're on the correct time frame from where you've drawn the scan. Just let it load up. Let me hide these. Okay, oh, getting that off. Right, so we've got a by scan, as you can see. So the X point will be on the same level as the D, or same side as the D. And we're looking for highs and lows, so it's going to be somewhere probably there. Oh yeah, see, where's the 5th of June? Over there, that one. So we've got low to high to low to high to low, and that's where you can see the scan's working its way through. So come over here to the left to your scanner symbol, click on the top one, X, A, B, C, D, and you've got 5 points now held on your mouse. You can draw little brush marks up and down to show you where the highs and lows are, but I won't do that today. So make sure your time zone bottom right is the same as your local time zone on your trading view. So UTC +2 for me, +1 for the UK. 5th of June at 1400 is going to be there. Oh, should have the magnet on. Then it'll come to the bottom of the wick. XA is the 5th of June at 1400. B is the 7th of June at 23. C is 8th of June at 07. Just look at the bottom before you click it on. And D, the 8th of June at 12. Let me just make that a bit bigger for you. So that looks about right. You can check the shape they are, see, it looks similar. Come back here, top left to your pitchfork, looks like a little trident. I've got it saved as favorites. Click on that, have the magnet on, and this will always be X to C to D. I like my latest, oh, wrong one. I like those in pink, and I like my pitchforks on the latest scan in white. So keep them the same, and then my brain doesn't have to think too hard about which scan I'm on, or if I've got some lines crossing. So once you've done that, then come down to the 1 minute. This is the fiddly bit. And we're just going to make sure those points are on the nearest high or low, like Kathy said. Do that. So it's quite way back, so it's already worked its way through the scan. And we've got the D point. Sometimes I put the padlock on just to stop glitching. So there it is down. Oh, let me just get it bigger. Needs to go on there. And you can pull the drawing across. You don't have to, but I like to. The C, I'll put the magnifier on. That's that plus symbol there. And you can see it's slightly off. That's your highest point. Again, the same with the drawing if you want to. Don't have to bother. There now. Did that glitch? Yes. See how that I accidentally moved that pitchfork? B and A and down to the C, X, sorry. Okay, now you're good to go. So I like to, I'll just, oh, I want to be able to see your beautiful faces till I sort out my extended screen, which Brian very kindly last night told me how to do. Right, so back to the hourly. So that seemed to go on all right for me, Kathy.
Yeah, it went as normal, but when I looked at it, the candles just look different.
Yeah.
For example, by the B on the harmonics, there's several blue candles, and on mine, on FXCM on TradingView, there was a couple of red ones in the middle.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah.
I wasn't quite sure what you do in that case, whether you just say, yeah, you know, I've done it to the actual minute chart. So is that okay, or was there something wrong with the harmonics in the first place for the candles to be so different?
The answer is I don't know. Chance would probably know because he knows everything. But what I would probably do is put it on the doji one, on the last down one, if that, you know, and you know, because you can tell that's an indecision candle. So you know, that's like a reversal point, isn't it? So that's where I would put it, or I would put it to the. I would look at the timestamp at the bottom as well, but I wouldn't put it on the buy candle.
Which is what I did. I put it on, sorry, I put it on the one to the left of that, the lowest one, the very lowest one.
No, I wouldn't. I'd put it on the doji with the wick, but that's just me.
Hey, Sarah.
But doesn't that make a...
You just have to remember the only 3 points that matter are the X, C, and D. So for drawing purposes, you're just doing it for accuracy, right?
Well, that's a good point, isn't it? Because what we care, you're right, aren't you? Yeah, because what we care about is the pitchfork. So even moving that up and down or sideways is not going to affect those points.
So the B point isn't as, yeah, I see what you mean. The B point, yeah.
And I suppose,
or the A.
Or the A, I suppose. I was just going to say, Brian, would you agree with that? The A point doesn't matter that much either then.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because, you know, I just try and match up the drawing to all the points just for the sake of accuracy and the practice of doing it.
Yeah,
but the ones that I really pay attention to are X, C, and D.
Yeah.
Is there a time, Sarah, when we do it, when we do a pitch pull? I haven't done this yet, but I think I've seen something on one of Chance's videos where he uses, does he use the A point rather than the X or something?
That's the second pitchfork, and we draw it when price has moved out of the scan. So, and it must be drawn in the opposite direction. And it's the first point. I can't remember. I have got one on some pairs here, but I can't remember where. So if price had moved, if that's going up, if price had fallen all the way down out the scan, come down here. So right? It's come out the scan down to here. Then what we would do, I just need to get rid of that brush. Can never get rid of the brush otherwise. Is come to the pitchfork. You draw the first point in the middle of, I'll take the magnet off, in the middle of nowhere. And then it's X to A. And it must be, put it in green. I won't, I'll put it in purple. And then you line, it must be in the opposite direction. So it's no good if it's facing the same direction. It must be opposite. And then it lines up with either the C point. So if we try to line it up with the D, it doesn't, I mean, I haven't got price to actually show you, but you can't, ideally not on the extensions on this line here. So you can't do it on the D point. And anyway, it's not, well, straight across would be okay, but you can't really line it up because it should really be off this line here, ideally. If you can't do that, then you can do what we call a best fit. So say it didn't work lining it up with the C point, then I could do that and I'd go for as many touches as I could, which would be these ones here, for example. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches there. Beautiful touches off the quarter theory. I'm not on the 1 minute, I'm on the hourly, so I'd be doing it, would I be doing it on the hourly? Doing it on the hourly. I think you do it on the hourly. Or do we do it on the 15 minute? Maybe I do it, I can't remember now, 15 minute.
On the hourly, I think, Sarah, because it's the same
the
as the normal pitch. It's the
Thank
same as
you.
the normal pitchforks.
Same as a normal pitchfork. Thank you. Sorry, brain's a bit addled. Yeah.
That's all right.
Draw it on the hourly, but then go down to the 1 minute just to check the XA and where you've lined it up. Just check some of your touches and things. Okay, does that answer the question, Kathy?
Yeah, I think so. What's, you know, where you've drawn your yellow line to say if it goes off the scan, what sort of time frame are we talking about there? Because they'll all do it eventually, won't they? They'll all move away from the scan eventually.
Well, yes, and if you build up a library of scans, then you will probably have it move back into a scan that you've had from old, which should still be valid. Yeah. If you haven't, because I had some big gaps I just couldn't close, I think on something like USD JPY. And even when I tried to put a second pitchfork on, I think Chance ended up, he had an old scan that worked. So yes, but sometimes that could move, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, and then you're stuck, aren't you? Because you want to trade it and it's come down here and you haven't got anything to trade off.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just as and when it's finished the scan, if it comes into a gap.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
One.
It's not that the scan's failed, because it hasn't, but it's, yeah.
Scan's not failed. Let's just remove that. And I saw price had just moved, so we'll see what it's doing down on the, although, as we said, we've got OPEC meetings for the Canadian dollar. So we might not like that. Above the 62 for a buy, it's come above, straight above, it hasn't done a break and a retest. So Pitchfork says buy, and now Quarter Theory is saying buy, but technically we didn't really get, I don't know how much that break and retest is there, that was only 4 pips, so not a big break and a retest that we like, and it hasn't done a break and a retest here either, it's gone straight up. And there's the previous high there, which is just reaching now. So because of that small break there, I don't know whether it wants to carry on up. And anyway, it's OPEC meetings, so it's not one that massively appeals to me. So you can put a trend line on it. And I think that's something I learned last night from Chance. Don't be lazy about your trend lines. In other words, put your trend line on. You seem to be, I thought, Brian, he seemed to be very particular about that. last night. He really did stress I thought he stressed the importance of making sure you've got that 1 minute trend line on.
Right, because people who were sending in scans really only showed a couple of confirmations on what they sent in.
Yeah. So you need 3 touches, 2 or 3 touches for a trend line to be valid. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's slipped through a bit there. It's tried to test the 62, but if I moved it further out, it's personal choice. I mean, that might work as well. I quite like where I draw trend lines, and generally I'm happy with them. You just have to decide what you're happy with. So look, it's coming back now. So if that's a test, if you're not worried about OPEC meetings, and that is going to reject off there and come back above the quarter theory, then that's done 12 pips. That is a strong engulfing candle, and we've passed the half hour. Then you could put a buy on that, but only at that point there. And your next level up would be 30 pips. I'll just put it at 20 for the moment. And it's GCAD, so normally I'd have 15 on that, but you might not need 15 because GCAD is a very fast pair. But you have got quarter theory and the trend line, and just wait for that 62 to come on up. And you've got the 3 confirmations within your stop loss area. But at the moment, it's breaking and retesting that trend line, so it's coming right down to the 62. And as I say, that's a fast pair. So what I'll do is put an alert on the quarter theory area, and we can come back to that. That flight is really annoying me now. Let's put that on extend right line. Add alert. Okay, so that's GCAD. We can come off that one.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't put a trend line from the lowest point on your screen, like from the point lower than where you've started it from?
No, you can do, because you want to trade with the trend. The one that I took with Connor was a reversal trade, which is more difficult. But if I looked at that as a trend, I don't find.
Because that's I think when I looked at this, that's what I did. I just went for the lowest point.
Yeah, I
think I've just still got a lot to learn. Some of it seems to be what looks best to you, and it doesn't. I haven't got the feel for that yet at all.
Well, and I was just about to say I'm not brilliant, and I'm not sure that I'm doing the best on trend lines either. So don't beat yourself up, because I think as long as you've got the touches, you can come out wider. But my gut feeling is I'd rather come in closer on that current trend.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
But if I look at where we were on EuroOrg, and you can see we did, sorry, that's out on the 15-minute. You can see that we had various, cleaned it up, various trend lines. So my first trend line up, looking at Connor's trade up, just to understand, as he talked me through what he'd done. Yes, it's from that lower point, isn't it? And then here, coming down, I first of all drew that steep one, and then I widened it. So trend lines move as price moves. They're not. You can keep redrawing them. Oh, look what it's gone and done. Gone right up there now. Right, back to GCAD. So, well, it obviously didn't like that at all. And I suppose our clue was only a small break above the pitchfork, and then it couldn't hold it to get away from quarter theory. So, and in fact, I think it's going to do one of those sort of snaking along things now, although it is between two levels. But I don't think that looks like something I want to get involved with, mainly because of OPEC. So at least we've drawn up GCAD anyway. I'll tidy that up later. GBP USD, we've looked at Euro USD. Now, I asked Chance about this one yesterday because this is one of the ones I don't think I got in this, but I marked it up. So I sent it in and asked his opinion because I said, why did it only go 9 pips? I just moved that out the way. It's looking at this area here, and it's off the D point of a scan. It is a buy. It was a buy. So I had the break, and the pink line is the pitchfork. I seem to have lost quarter theory. Sometimes it switches itself off, which is very annoying. If I come to the 5 minutes, it might put itself on. Yeah, I'll just do it on the 5 minute just to show you. So it, I had the break and the retest of break and the retest of the pitchfork and the quarter theory. It was above the 62, but it only went up 9 pips. And he gave us a bit of a valuable lesson. He said it was late in the day of New York and Euro USD moves between the 1st and 2nd hour of London and the 1st and 2nd hour of New York. And I think this is important to learn when your pairs move, because there was nothing inherently wrong. It just, if you look on the 1 minute, both the orange and the blue lines were just snaking along, kind of crossing each other. So it was too late in the day. It was tea time and it wasn't going to do any more for the day. And in fact, if you look at the green box, which is Tokyo, what did you have? A lot of consolidation. I'll get rid of that. And then coming into London, there's that very nice drop down as London opens, so under the 62, and then a break and a retest of the pitchfork down to the next level, the quarter theory. I could take that off now. And then back up to the pitchfork, a break and a retest, and back up to quarter theory. So very nice move in London, open of London, 50 pips, and all the way back up actually to the open of New York. So it moved from just the end of Tokyo. So that was the London move, beginning of New York up. So that's Euro USD. And done Euro ORD, GU, this is GA. So where was I on GA? I can't remember who I was looking at with this. Sorry, my brain's a bit funny today. Right, I'm on the 1 minute. Let me get that bit tidier. So it has not yet hit the median. Normally I'll take trades just in the direction of the scan. It's 56 pips between each leg. So not quite big enough to say just take a quarter theory trade. I'm on the 1 minute chart. I'll get rid of that now. So the 62 EMA is saying buy, quarter theory is saying buy, but the pitchfork is saying sell. Hide all this, let's just tidy it up. Because I'm trying to save some stuff for Friday session at 3 UK time when we kind of go over what worked in the week. I can remove that. So we're still looking for a sell I'm on the 1 minute. You can see it didn't do a break and a retest of the D point. It dropped straight down past quarter three. The 62 kept it under. It then rejected quite a lot off this is a very fast pair, off that pitchfork. It then came back up to quarter theory, back under. The 62 kept it all the way down. It failed to reach this next level of this pitchfork. It came back up to touch the 62 and quarter theory, and then tried another attempt to go down to the next pitchfork, but failed. Back up almost to the pitchfork. How much did that reject by? 3 pips, so not quite a touch really. So it dropped back down. All those rejections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, into New York, up to the pitchfork. The 62's keeping it up, and that looks to me like it, I don't know what it wants to do at the moment actually, because the trend, as Kathy said, if you draw a longer trend line, we've got that going on. Or that. And if you do that, then it's broken and retested that, come off the 62, and that's saying buy. And if you put another trend line on here, yeah, you see, and this is where it's subjective, isn't it? Do you want to get those points in, which are wicks? Some people say you have to go to the wicks on trend lines. Other people call them zones, and pitchforks are very aggressive trend lines, but trend lines themselves are a little bit more of a zone. So sometimes I do cut the wick off if it's the other side of the 62 or it's an hourly fake out. Then I might cut them off. So I've got 1, 2, and I might draw it a bit more like that. There. So it's staying above the 1 minute trend. It's not broken back down. So that is a buy, isn't it? Because look, there's your break in the retest of the 1 minute trend, and it's now coming on up. I'll take that off. And we've got, and that's only 8 pips though. So, and here we have the pitchfork and quarter theory sort of working together. So no trade for me because it's not over 60 pips per leg. I'm only going to take this trade as a sell. It's sandwiched between there. I've got the 62 saying buy. I've got quarter theory saying buy. I've got it rejecting off that pitchfork, although it has broken and retested to the buy side on that 1 minute trend. So what I'm looking for on this is for it to do I'm looking for it, sorry, I lost my concentration then. I want it to do that. And the reason I lost my concentration was because I was thinking, have I just seen a fib there? So if I put a fib from that previous high there to that low there, that gives us a rejection of the 61.8 for the sell. So where would we get in on that trade? Based on those rejections of the 61.8, I'd probably want to wait for it to come back under that 62 there. So that's where I'd want to get in. But you know, it's up to you. GA, very fast pair, so 15 pip stop loss, and let's see where that catches it. So if it comes down, so about there, 16. So your first level, that's an old pitchfork running through, is 50 pips down to that next level. And quarter theory, you will have to watch that, is round about your 10 pip move, where you'll put a stop profit in at 1 pip up here. So I'll leave that at 20. And can we do an alert on that? So I quite like the look of that. But to be honest, personally, I don't want to do any more trading today because I don't want to muck up what I've done. And here, we'll just watch this for a bit because we're in the last bit of the session. So it's just dropped below the 62. There's a nice trade, I think. So although we are in the last 5 minutes of the hour, so that did a break and a retest there, 14 pips there. Rejected again. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections off the 62. And you've got, at the moment, just coming under the 62, down is 8 pips to quarter theory. So watch that point. Put a horizontal line on there and clone it. Just how I like to do it. Chance thought they were pitchforks last night, my blue lines. But, you know, whatever. They're getting there, and that is 7. So roundabout quarter theory, 10 pips, put your stop profit in for a risk-free trade. It's a fast, crazy pair, GA. Let's just measure that again. Somewhere around about, so there's 10.6. Okay, so I'll just, and I don't know whether it's going to do an actual retest of that line. It's under the 62. So what would I, oh, it has done the break and retest. Yeah, I would have been in it by now if I was so minded, because there is that doji candle break and retest there. You've already had it. So that's settings, inputs. It was something, and it does move fast. Sorry, 1.82615. So I cannot do watch lists in our group because we've been in and out, but we've already done the money. 1.82415 for profit level at 20 pips. There's the stop loss at 1.82765. That's 15 pips. Right. Oh, and it's gone back up. So it might be coming back to reject again. There's a doji candle. Oh, but that could be our fake out just before the hour, which I do keep telling us to beware of. And I have to say, Connor and I forgot, well, I forgot that, not Connor, it wasn't his fault. When we were in, I think it was when we got into GBPUSD. Fortunately, that's wicking off that 1 minute trend. So it doesn't like the going up. So I'm going to stop sharing in a minute, because if anyone's got any questions, I'll stop sharing because I'm looking at the chat. Some things in the chat. I found 4 new harmonic scans. Thanks, Bran. I'll have a look at those. EU, have you put them in the group for us?
No, I haven't put them in the group yet. I've drawn up the first 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the last 2, but I just thought I'd point it out for anybody who wants to go.
Thank you. New scans. I've written that down. Well, if you can post them.
I've put a couple in this morning.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Kathy hasn't already, then that's helpful, because then we can just look in there.
Yeah, it might be the same, might not.
Oh, well done, Eric. You got 23 pips on GU this morning. Oh, you went the right way. We should have been trading with you. Kathy, I also had a more recent scan on Euro Ords with different pitchforks to Sarah, but I did have Sarah's pitchforks from an earlier scan. Yeah, well, Brian said there's a new one, a new EA one. So we need to have a look at that.
Sarah, when I was on one of your sessions, I think it was maybe, I forget who asked the question, but, and I know it will probably be a pain, but had you still thought of doing a like a list of other rules other than our
I will.
basic rules?
I will, yes, it is.
Because every time I'm on,
yeah.
I mean, there's such a wealth of information. There's always a new little tip and a new little tip.
I know. I will, Julie. It is a good idea, and I'll put it in the units in the group. Yeah. And
I would appreciate it. I know it's work.
And then no, it's fine. And then people can add to it if people.
Well, yeah. I mean, every time it's like I'm getting my own little list compiled here, but it would be great if you had ever had time to do that.
Yeah. There we are. So that's coming down now. It's trying to come down. And it's coming down. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I hope you found that session useful. And I'll just stop recording.